and say hello to all the people online. Are we? Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining the Horn Hangouts. I have with me the next member of the Boston Symphony Orchestra Horn Section. This is Elise. She sadly doesn't belong to me. Oh, wait, I'm in that camera. We'll start again. I've got my cameras mixed up. Hi. You probably just heard all that, but I wasn't looking at you, which was very rude. But she is. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the Horn Hangouts, as you just heard. This is the newest member of the Boston Symphony Orchestra Horn Section, Elise, who actually sadly, she wants some cake. Sadly, iPad, okay. She belongs to Michael, who I'm going to now give back. I would like to say a huge welcome to the Boston Symphony Horn Section, who have made time in their incredibly busy schedule. They've just arrived from Hamburg and they're playing Mahler 3 tonight in the Philharmonie, and we've managed to make time for a Boston tea party. So welcome, you guys. A big round of applause from all over the world for you guys. Elise, are you going to stay with us? I like your Horn Hangout sticker. Look at that. Yeah, okay, she's given up. Lauren is here too. Lauren is playing extra on the tour, right? You're bumping Jamie in the concert, but I think little Elise has had enough now, hasn't she? Okay. Bye.
She's got to go play long tones.
She's got to go play long tones. Anybody got any questions about long tones? Do write in. As you know, I've got the chat here. You can ask whatever you want, and I'll decide if I'm going to ask it. I'm so happy to meet these guys because I actually don't really know you very well. We had one dinner in Boston, didn't we? Where not all of you were there. Were you all there? No, you weren't. And we had a really great photo op in London recently because we were all staying in the same hotel, but one of the section missed it. No names, but she was asleep. So you're watching from all over the world. This is really quite incredible. Singapore, Italy, Australia, Israel, my mum in London. I must say a big thank you to my wonderful webmaster and partner in Horn Hangout Crime, Tim Kelly. He is awake in Melbourne. Hello, Tim. Thank you very much. And he's running the stream from his company Livestream, and also George, Jakob, and Chris, who are busy behind the scenes. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to you guys for being here. Really, it's quite a big thing to do on a travel day and a concert day. You played in Hamburg last night, Jamie. How was that?
We did. It was interesting, actually, because, of course, there's the new concert hall there. We had never played there before, and it's just this massive...
It's quite something.
Wonder, yeah.
Would you have known how to get out if there was a fire alarm?
Jump. Big windows.
Yeah, it's really something, and then all the doors are locked. You can't actually get out until somebody's come and opened all those glass doors. It's a little strange.
Well, I don't know if you've been to the little miniature wonderland in Hamburg.
No.
It's kind of like the biggest model train set in the world, but they have a scale model of the Elbphilharmonie, which apparently they spent 350,000 euros on. And there are little figures everywhere. It's close, it's in that part of the city.
Oh, okay.
And there's a jumping out of one of the windows in the new Elbphilharmonie, there's a little tiny diver wearing a bathing suit doing a perfect swan dive into the Elbe. So.
Did he have a horn with him?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
But you leave those behind.
We played Bruckner there, and on that was a day where I felt like diving into the Elbe with the, you know those days. Those are the days where you just like to take your horn and run, or even leave your horn there. What do you think of the acoustic, Jason?
Oh,
it's okay. No one's listening.
Yeah. Do you say what you're supposed to say?
No, not on the Horn Hangouts. You say what you want to say.
Very well, but our hall back in Boston is very beautiful, and there's enough reverb that sometimes it's a little difficult to know exactly how things are lining up. So you just kind of go by feel. Suddenly you can hear what isn't lining up that you're not used to, and I think the orchestra snapped into it very quickly with the Shostakovich, but.
You'll have a lot of fun in the Mahler tonight, I promise. This hall was made for horns. At least we think so.
Yeah, it was a little bit high definition. Yeah. maybe hear a little bit too much.
I find it a little hard, the hall, for horns anyway. We sat on the other side, we played Bruckner, so we were sitting on conductor right. Which they said worked quite well. You were probably, did you do your setup? Oh no, that's for the Mahler, your special setup.
No, we did the same setup on this.
Okay, we'll get to that, because a lot of people have asked about your seating arrangements. But may I just introduce everyone, because I'm sure you have so many fans all around the world who know exactly who you are, but for the people that have maybe not experienced you as live, Michael, you played third horn, and where were you from? You had jobs...
I grew up in Southern California, studied at NEC with most of them, actually. They, despite that, hired me anyway. And then I had 2 previous jobs before coming back to Boston.
Yeah, and you've been there for how long?
It's the end of my 6th season.
6 seasons. So you're still sort of the new boy.
I am, but then again, I also played 5 years of extra before that. So
okay.
I logged a lot
Oh,
of
so they knew what they were getting.
Yeah.
Jamie Sommerville, principal horn since, God, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yes, wow. I was researching you on the good old web, and your look has changed quite a lot over the years, like that.
That's what 20 years will do, one way or another.
You've been in the orchestra for 20 years, and yeah, impressive stuff. You all teach at the same conservatory?
Yes.
All of you, actually,
yes.
I think I read. Or was that just one of the bio blurbs, you know? Enjoys chamber music, appears as a soloist, and teaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, New England Conservatory.
New England Conservatory,
Yeah.
well. And you will tell us afterwards about your seating arrangements, because you are like in the middle, and the horns just go like that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Jason, fourth horn.
Yes.
And it's a great job, fourth horn, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got its perks.
You've been longer than Michael.
Yeah, I've been here, this is my 12th year.
12 years already.
Yeah.
And
It goes by fast.
Wow, gosh.
Yeah.
And I read you were at PMF.
I was, yeah, in I think 99.
The best place, isn't it?
Yeah.
PMF is just the best. And Rachel, who's been described as a badass second horn and supermom by our friend Russell, and you, the first, I'm sure you're probably sick of hearing it, but I hear it all the time too, the first female in the brass section, so cheers with our tea for that. Cheers, Rachel, good on ya. Cheers. The tea's going cold. You know, this isn't a proper tea time in England. It's 3:30 our tea time. So, but Boston Tea Party you can have. Don't we have to dump all this into the harbour afterwards? You joined
the year before Michael.
before Michael, so you're almost.
I consider myself the newest one.
Yeah, so that's quite late to get a girl in the section.
Yes.
Yeah, so good on you, gal. Good on you. We actually have a picture, don't we, right at the moment of all of you on tour, the one you took last night, which we're just going to show. So you're on tour doing Mahler 3 as well, so you've got Lauren, your wife, and then
Paul
Stracker's there, who we have to meet afterwards because I promised him a beer, and also Gabe. I bumped into Gabe in the hotel. He just arrived, and he was like, I said, "Hi, Gabe." He went, I don't think he knew that we were in his. He was like, "Whoa, what? What's that?" So I'm looking forward to seeing him as well. So that's a lovely photo you took in the horn room of the Elbphilharmonic. Did you see the book, Gus? Did you see the guest book? Did you sign it? Good, because we signed it and we made the worst. Did you see that photo? We trashed their room. We threw everything we owned around the room and then took a picture. And then the bell rang and everyone had taken off most of their clothes and the tails were hanging everywhere and the clothes, I mean. And and it was just chaos. And then everyone had to get dressed quickly and then. It was not a naked photo, I'll say that. If you go to the Elbphilharmonic, you can. I'm so sorry, I should have told you to have a look at it. It's quite outrageous.
There was an entry in there that I thought was really funny. It was one of the more recent ones from the horns of the DSO, and it said, what did it say again? It said, the right rear light is defective.
Yeah.
That was their only comment.
That's great.
That lovely hall. Thanks for the hospitality.
That's great.
One of your lights.
Well, in Germany, we like things to work, you know? We like things to work. I just have to say, this is the great thing about this. This is because people are watching who know you from all over the world, including Bruce from Richardson in Texas saying hello to the whole group, especially our granddaughter, Elise. So is that your... That's your father-in-law. Yeah. That's so nice. Juan from Brazil is watching. Lampros from Greece. Marvin from Malaysia. Sam from Israel. Russell. Russell is awake in Vancouver. Hello, Russell. We love you. Thank you for all the research you've helped. And Joe from Boston. Oh, he's very happy to have you guys in a hangout. And that's really nice. It's quite incredible, isn't it? Gus, don't get nervous now. Gus is not your real name. That's what I want to know.
Right.
Gus Richard Sebring.
That's correct.
So where did Gus come from?
5 older brothers and sisters. Decided
All
that's
called
what I
Richard.
wanted
Oh, so
to do.
okay.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a very nice.
There's no
name.
better answer. I always get considered Augustus and Gustav. Is it? I wish it was.
It's a nice name. It's just I was trying to find you online, Richard Sebring, and I couldn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you are associate principal. So what does that mean? You mean you guys change over? You play half the program? How does that work in the
typically
States?
during symphony season, I'll play the first half of the program. Jamie will do the real work.
What happens if Jamie feels like playing the first half?
Well, or if he feels like going to,
Or not playing.
Canada or something, then it looks like we work it out very, very nicely.
That's good. And you've been in the orchestra actually the longest.
Longest standing member. Of
I was
the
trying to
brass,
do my math.
The only member of the brass section is still here from when I was hired.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been a complete.
So aren't you glad
complete
they
turnaround.
hired you?
And I sat on every audition committee and voted for every person on this.
Really?
Brass section.
In the whole brass section or just the horns?
Yeah, so I've been told.
So you are the godfather.
Well,
But did you?
not anything like that, but.
So did you voted for everyone? Or you're not allowed to say that?
Yes.
You voted for everyone that got in. Okay,
Yeah.
because that sometimes sucks if you're on a committee and don't want someone they get in anyway.
No.
Gus is maybe too modest to mention this, but in our orchestra, it's a slightly unusual setup because the associate principal winds are also principals of the pops. So Gus is principal horn of the Boston pops.
That's something we need to get to too, because
Yeah.
a lot of people have asked, tell me about pops, what's the
Sure.
difference between that and the... but we still got somebody very important to introduce. John or Jonathan?
Either one.
Either one.
Take your pick.
Your voice is still very
A
low.
little bit.
It's not usually that
I
low.
don't quite have the low A anymore.
Just call him Barry.
Yeah. Barry, yeah. In London, it was 8:30 in the morning, our photo call, which somebody slept through, who we won't mention. She might get upset if we do. And your voice, you said good morning. I was like, ooh. You are utility horn. Now, utility means laundry in England. A utility room is a laundry room. So for people that don't have a laundry horn, can you explain the utility position?
Well, we sometimes refer to it as futility. Well, over the years, I have not only been the bumper or assistant to whoever is playing principal, I also cover for the rest of the section, 2 through 4, and then in the extended sections, I'll play usually 6th, I guess, and also the auxiliary, the tubin.
The tubin. Okay. Does it work with tubin like it does with us? With us, it's sort of seniority and who's been there longest and.
Typically, it's 5, 6.
Okay.
We've done that.
Oh, you've done
years
that for
and years.
yeah.
And then 7, 8 is usually one of
Okay.
the 2 of these.
Yeah. Do you guys get paid extra for tuba?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's why we all love to play the tuba.
Especially pieces with one note.
I've also played for extended periods where we've had vacancy in the section. Second
You've played in one position.
Yes.
Does it mean you have to practice more than everyone else because you never know if you're going to play high horn or low horn?
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Tell us. No one's listening.
I don't know.
So what are you playing on this tour?
What am I playing?
You're playing 6th.
6th.
Okay, so that means you are sitting to Jamie's left.
In this case, apparently.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yes.
Okay. Just to explain to you that haven't seen this, the Boston Symphony Horns in Mahler, Jamie was like in the middle, and I just saw the picture from the Albert Hall, and then they fanned out like this, literally fanned. They're all your fans. Can you tell me exactly how you sit and why? Because half of it's Vienna, because the Viennese sit the other way around.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because we started to discuss it and realize that we don't exactly remember how, or at least there are a couple of reasons that it's evolved that way. I mean, from my standpoint, I like being close to the other principal woodwinds. So if I can be central, just for ensemble, I like that. And to have 1 through 4 the way we're all used to feels most natural.
And then a bumper next to you?
Bumper next to me on my left. And then, I mean, especially for when they're tuban, like in Bruckner, it makes a lot of sense to have the low tuban,
Yeah,
F tuba
totally.
close to the actual, the low C or B flat
Yeah.
tuba. And then because our hall, as good as it is not a huge stage, there are always issues in terms of space, just finding out where to put everybody. So, I mean, I guess there's more to it than that, but that's largely how we got there.
Your hall, we found when we were there, it is quite small actually, and we're used to sort of sitting with a lot of room. And then if the horns are like literally on the side going into the wall almost, if they're way on the side, that's where we sat. We should have maybe taken your advice and sat
Sometimes
sat
we
in the
actually
middle.
do that. We sit stacked, in the
Yeah.
carpool style, and actually over towards the right side. So that's nice because we're not in front of the timpani, but it does put you further from the clarinets, bassoons,
Yeah,
et cetera,
yeah.
the women.
So why put 5, 6, 7, 8 on your left? Don't you guys get it all sort
Where
of?
else you gonna put 'em?
Yeah, I guess. Well, here you could put them like 4 and 4, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah.
the room for that. We
Yeah,
don't-
you can hear them.
Sometimes in the summer at Tanglewood, the stage is a little bit larger, so
Yeah.
we will occasionally try 2 rows.
Speaking of Tanglewood,
Yes.
you've just come from Tanglewood. Can you zoom in on Gus's shirt? Tanglewood is supposed to be. Russell told me yesterday it's the most magical place. I really want to come. I've been meaning to come for years. I wanted to make one of my programs about it. It hasn't ever. I wanted to meet John Williams when he was there, and
still there.
he's still there. I know. I'm coming next year.
You're invited.
I'm invited. I would love to come. But I actually asked Rachel for some. We have wonderful decoration with all the horns, which everyone's asking what sort of horns are you playing. And I said to Rachel, could you bring some Boston Symphony Orchestra decoration? And I don't know what you've got in that bag, but can you show
Well,
me?
we had a branding mishap because we're out at Tanglewood, so we only have Tanglewood gear for you. We don't have any BSO gear, but Gus.
I was hoping for a Boston Red Sox
Gus
t-shirt.
thoughtfully brought that for
Oh, oh, that's great! Oh, wow! Oh, sorry. Oh, Tanglewood, great!
So you just wanted, she just
Yeah,
wanted
no,
swag for herself.
So
I got a Boston, I
we
got a Boston.
have appropriately a Tanglewood tea towel.
So
So
oh, that's great!
spill something.
Yes, we should spill something. Yeah, the Japanese would use this as a spittle horn. So what can we put this here, Jakob? Can we just sort of hang that down there? Put your tea on it.
two.
You got 2. Oh, let's get decorating.
Yes.
This is really
And we
okay.
brought Tanglewood hats for your crew.
Oh, that's so nice, guys. You're getting caps as well. Oh, but I'm keeping this one.
And various paraphernalia, t-shirts.
Aren't you great?
So,
Thank you.
Thank you to the BSO press office who gave us the voucher.
You didn't even have to
She
pay
had
for
to
it.
say that.
Oh, you got. Thank you to the BSO press office, which has given out the voucher to bring all these
there's
goodies.
more.
There's more.
Wait, there's
Oh my
There's
goodness.
more. We don't have to go through them now.
No, but that's great. I've got T-shirts galore. Thank you.
Blue would look very
Oh
well.
wow.
No, it's a
You have an eBay.
That wouldn't fit.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you guys to sign it. I'm gonna sell them on eBay. is that okay, Jakob? These nice. Is this all right for
close to
the?
what we paid for.
There we go. That's very, very nice. Will that do? You approve of the decor? He wanted flowers and all the rest
No,
of
that
it.
hat probably came from the.
Thank you very much.
From,
Thank you. That's
from
really
the Pops
lovely.
playing the national anthem at Fenway Park.
Really?
Yeah, because we've done that quite a number of times.
So Rachel, tell me about Tanglewood. I'm sure you've all heard about Tanglewood, everyone watching, but tell us exactly what, because you guys just up and move, don't you?
Yeah, the whole orchestra and administration and staff ship out to Tanglewood. We're there technically for 8 weeks, but sometimes people are there a little bit longer. I don't know of a single person that ever commutes back and forth.
How far is it?
Pretty hard.
It's 2.5 hours, depending on where you live in the Berkshires and Boston.
So you guys have never had a summer vacation for years, for 20 years. You've
No.
been
No.
really
No horn
literally-
workshops and all those things that get scheduled in the summer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't ever get to do.
Well, like IHSs and
Yeah, exactly.
great. Well,
But it's a pretty great place to spend the summer if you're
Yeah.
not going to have a vacation.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
It can't get much better than that.
I can't. I'm going to come and see it.
But it actually is way more work for us. It's much more difficult and rigorous schedule than the regular symphony season.
Why is
Symphony
that?
season, we have 1 program per week. We have 4 rehearsals, and we perform it 4 times. Tanglewood-
4 times.
4 times.
Wow, we only do
Yeah,
3.
Thursday night, Friday afternoon, Saturday night, Tuesday
Okay.
night, Tuesday over.
Gosh.
Tanglewood, we do 3 different programs each weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. All with
One show.
minimal rehearsals. 3 different programs.
Oh.
For 8 weeks.
We could never do
And
that.
you just turn pages this way. You know?
Only Americans and Brits can do that. We Germans cannot. And I say that with love because I'm an honorary German as well. We literally cannot sight read like that. But you know what's coming, don't you? I mean, you know,
Well,
or sort of.
Well, most of it we play during the season.
Okay.
So it's a program that, although often I don't remember. I'm like, when did we play this last? And it was 4 months before, and I can't remember.
But even we
You
only
get
get
old, Jason.
yeah we only get
it happens.
we only do 2 rehearsals per program. So sometimes, depending on what the work is, there's stuff that we're playing a piano concerto and we ran out of time in rehearsal. So it's like, well, we'll see how he gets out of the cadenza in the last page. It can get really interesting.
Yeah, you see, you're used to. I just played with the LA Phil at the Hollywood Bowl, and they have one rehearsal, and then they do the show. And it was all South American music in 5/8 and Senza Maya and all this stuff, and we didn't. You're right, we didn't even finish it. We didn't finish it, and they were saying, "Oh, Gustavo, he'll do it on the night." And I'm used to, we have four rehearsals, a dress rehearsal, and 3 concerts, and only by the third concert do I feel like I know what I'm doing. So that's very impressive.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm gonna come and try that out.
They don't let anyone start their job at Tanglewood. They make you wait until September to start the gig.
Actually, I did pretty much.
Well,
I
think
started right before the pop season,
No.
so I only had about 3 weeks of the classical season. So that summer, everything was new to me, and it was stressful.
Yeah, it's like playing at the operas here, the German opera houses. You don't, in the old days, now they do have rehearsals. When I joined the opera, Barenboim's opera, they had repertoire opera. So you went in every night and you sight read Fledermaus, Rosenkavalier, Magic Flute, and that was really very stressful. But Pops concerts can be even more dangerous because there's lovely. What is the Pops? Jamie, tell me what the Pops. No, you're the principal horn of the ball. So you don't have to play the Pops.
I play very little pops. I play a few extras at Christmas, very occasionally in the spring.
But he does the Boston Symphony Chamber Players. So they often
There's a lot going on in your city. My goodness.
the principal players often go off on a tour and play chamber music all over, right?
Ah, that's what happens. Okay, that's a good gig. Just get paid extra.
But then Jamie sends these beautiful pictures on his bike at the top of some mountain, you know.
Practicing.
Oh, there were also comments on your lycra, by the way. People liked that photo of us. He was just about to do 2 rounds of Hyde Park, at least. So you go off on the chamber players tour, and you guys play.
We do pops in May and June. We do 6 weeks of pops.
And that's outside?
May and June. No, it's in Symphony Hall.
And what do you mean by pops?
Well, the formula has changed somewhat over the years. It used to be light classics and maybe a concerto with an orchestra member playing, and then, bang up, popular arrangements and John Williams things and stuff like that for the third. But then we've got 2 halves now. And we do everything from guest artists coming in to Broadway shows to
I love
I don't know anything. But we do 5 shows a week, 5 nights, Tuesday through Saturday. And again, it's one rehearsal and play the show.
And how does it sell out? Is it frustrating? Does that sell out better than the Bruckner and the Mahler during the season?
Generally, Bruckner and Mahler sells quite well.
Yeah.
So, the really interesting
What
part.
does a Boston audience? What do they like?
We're pretty lucky. They like lots of different stuff. And the one thing Gus didn't mention about pops is during the month of December, we do holiday pops, which is one program basically for the month of December.
30 times, 30 something.
No, 40 something.
Oh, that's rough.
So it can be we're not obligated to play every single service, but if we do, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 concerts on Friday, 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday.
And if they're
3
John
on
Williams
Sunday.
is though?
No, that's Christmas.
No, that's Christmas. Okay,
Christmas.
I'm getting confused.
But holiday pops with Christmas
Okay.
It's a
music.
thick book.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not easy.
Okay.
You can
so
do
it's always the same then.
8 or 9 programs or concerts in 3 days.
Wow, that's
One of the things that is really unique in the Boston Symphony is that the classical crowd, the people that come to that and the people that come to the pop season, the people that come to Tanglewood, they often don't overlap at all.
Really?
So
I thought they were diehard fans.
Well, because of the music and where Tanglewood is, we get a lot of New Yorkers that come into Tanglewood, people that have summer homes there, and they love that. And so if any of them that I've gotten to know over the summers, I'll ask them if they've ever come out and seen us play in our own hall, which I think is very special. And a lot of them haven't. We've convinced a few of them too. Some of them have become like our fans from New York, and they travel around with us.
Oh.
But we have years in a given year that attendance might be down in, say, the pops, and it will be up in classical. So it's one of the things I love about being there. It feels like we've got all of our bases covered in any kind of climate. So and it's great. It keeps it. You will not get bored. You won't get bored. There's always something to do.
It sounds like it. Listen, let me just get back to all the people watching. Jean-Claude is watching from France and say he'll be at the Musikverein in Vienna, and he can't wait to hear you there. Fabian from Singapore is saying hello, BS Horn. And Annie Bosler and Dylan Hart are watching in LA. Good morning to you two, and especially to Rachel. They say a big hi. Alexandra Honigsberg from NYC, The Hill in the Heights. It's great. All that is, we got Norway. Maddie T. Boston Tea Party says, how has the sound of the section evolved, and where do you think American horn sound is headed? Well, there you go, Jamie. You get stuck into that one. No, but it's a good question because we have literally people watching all over the world, and we've had so many different nationalities of horn players, and we all have our own different sounds. And what would you say is the Boston Symphony horn sound?
I mean, I think one thing that that anyone could see looking at the last few decades, the big obvious shift in American horn sections is equipment. Because 20, 30 years ago, I would say it's fair that most American orchestras played large nickel-silver horns, 8Ds.
Speaking of which, there's no nickel-silver over there, but what have you all brought?
Oh, well...
Can you give me a quick summary?
There's a big variety.
Yeah.
I brought a Yamaha 861 and a Paxman triple, an older Paxman triple.
Okay. Good. And is that what is it? You all play different things?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can we just go quickly?
I don't think they're
Rachel and I play the same horn and mouthpiece. Just
not at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, not at the same time. But kind of coincidentally, well, she didn't win her job on what we play a route.
I heard you won your job on an Alex. Go, girl.
But I think she was thinking about how the low horn section would come together, and another route, someone had one for sale, and it kind of just fell in, and it clicked very quickly. I think we knew that was pretty easy. The low horns have something that we're kind of clicked in with. Yeah,
that's great. Gus?
Well, I think I own horns of every variety and color, but when I came into the orchestra, Chuck Kowalski was playing a Paxman triple, a nickel crispy, Dick Mackey. I came in as third horn. Dick Mackey on my right was playing a Con 8D, and Danny was playing his Jerry Lechnick horn. So it's always been kind of a mixed variety, but there's something in our concept that I think is really common to us all. And I don't know.
It doesn't matter then what horn you play.
How to describe it, but there's a good centered core to the sound, and a certain brilliance too.
What do you play, John? It's terribly horn nerdy. I'm sorry, but this is what the Horn Hangout is about.
I have a Geyer.
A Geyer.
A
Geyer.
Geyer almost exclusively.
Okay, and Michael?
An Atkinson Geyer copy is my main horn.
So, how does that all fit together, James? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's good.
People want to know. I want to know this.
Yeah. So, like my personal opinion about the whole equipment question is that people end up with certain equipment that reflects a concept, ideally. It doesn't really mean that, obviously, like if I pick up Con 8D, I played a Con 8D for a number of years, and they're great instruments. But if you're steering in a certain direction, you work harder on a specific instrument. And, it's interesting actually being here in the Philharmonie and walking around and looking at, for instance, like old pictures of the Karajan years. Everyone's playing all kinds of different things.
They actually played 8Ds. There's a picture of the whole horn section with 8Ds and Yamahas. And
50 years ago, the Boston section was Alex's.
You see, we all come from one melting pot.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there was a period that one of the Viennese principal horns came over and probably would have played principal in the Boston Symphony on a Vienna horn.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Back at, that was in
Got free from Freiburg.
yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, one of the big ones. You know, one of the,
So in the Symphony Hall, what is the biggest challenge for you guys? Because it's quite, I find it not so easy to play there, I must say. It's a beautiful hall and it's lovely to sit there, but we had to sort of, I got the feeling it was coming off here, off the wall.
Well,
maybe we were too close to the wall. We
were very close.
Yeah.
It is sensitive to setup for sure. I mean, it is a very reverberant, very warm, beautiful hall. It's a very sensitive acoustic. It has a particular, I've been told by acousticians that there's a particular characteristic, which is most concert halls, actually most spaces, the volume in decibels drops off with distance at a very predictable rate. Whereas our hall, for some reason, it drops off only to about the second row of seats, and then although the color changes towards the back, but the volume doesn't. So what that means, I think, as far as, of course, when you're balancing the other instruments in the orchestra, it gets complex very quickly. But it also means that we may not have to work as hard as people in less acoustically perfect spaces to fill the room with, whether it's a resonant piano or a triple forte. We can kind of trust the hall to do a lot of the work.
It's a beautiful hall, and I think I have a little video, and I think this was taken by somebody who we don't know who it was, in your hall, from Boston Symphony Hall, and I've never seen you look lovelier. Jakob, do you have the video? Could you play it for me?
Oh.
What did you think of that, everyone? Please write in and tell us, and keep your questions coming as well. I have a question. Who were you? I mean, I sort of could recognize Rachel. There's no place like home. Were you there?
I mean, we were in our usual stack, Gus, then Rachel, and I was behind Gus, and Jason was next to me on the outside.
Yeah, but I didn't recognize you. That was the thing.
Michael was the lion.
You were the lion.
He was the lion because he kept getting hair in his mouthpiece.
It's really a problem.
We had to cut a hole for the mouthpiece to go in, and to not look like an idiot. Fumbling that
Which
around,
we
and then
kinda did anyway,
you couldn't
but
pull it out either.
You didn't look idiots at all. I thought it was a beautiful moment.
It was our encore after we did Concertstook with Pops, and so Gus arranged that, and we thought that would be really nice because it was the anniversary.
Did you play the Concertstück dressed up like that?
No. So we had as we went off stage and the applause, then we quickly threw on the masks,
Brilliant.
and she did.
Absolutely brilliant. So you were the lion, you were the scarecrow, and you were the tin
I was
man.
happily in the audience.
You were in the audience. I do
Pops.
apologize. I couldn't quite tell. Well, this is a Pops concert. This was you.
Right.
Okay, I apologies, but it's really
And
not that easy.
they were forced to play brilliantly so the applause would last long enough so they could change.
Ah, okay. So you got all the high E's, and then so Gus, you made the arrangement, and it says on your biography that you can be heard often in popular music on radio. That's what it says.
I mean, I've done many studio sessions, many of them for public TV.
How do we know then it's you?
Oh, you don't?
But you have the biggest claim to fame, I think, than any of us in this room, if I may say so. Who's gonna explain what that was? Do you even have a picture of it? We don't have it we don't have a picture of it, unfortunately. But if you hold it into that camera, Chris could have a quick look at it. Can you manage to get that, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gus, what actually happened? Did you know that this was happening?
I got a call from a gentleman who said he was a researcher for Sony Entertainment, and he asked, did I in fact play? I got an email from him. He said, did you in fact play the solo in Saving Private Ryan that opens the
That was John Williams' score.
Yeah, John Williams recorded with us in 1998 in Symphony Hall. And And I said yes.
Did he say why he wanted to know?
Well, he said he was doing research for Jeopardy. And
Jeopardy.
I'm thinking, this is a scam. You know.
Okay, Jeopardy is an very famous American game show, or what is it? What's going on there, Jason? Get that photo up.
It's been going
Yes.
for
Okay.
the program's been
No problem.
You didn't give me the Wi-Fi password.
I'll just tell you what it is now. Oh, it's
Well, there it
there we
won't
go.
zoom in for
Okay,
some reason.
so it says, okay, we're not going to show. I'll show you guys later. Gus Sebring performed. This was a question on Jeopardy.
It was an answer.
It was an
It was an
answer.
answer. So what did they ask?
They give you the answer. You have to answer with the question.
Okay, I've never played it, but okay. We don't have that in England. Gus Sebring performs the haunting French solo that begins this 1998 Spielberg war film. How are you supposed to know that if you're like a normal person on Jeopardy? Or you?
There are no normal
There are no
people.
normal people. They know.
This was the highest in the category,
Yeah.
or something like that.
No, it was the very last clue that they asked. It was the
Oh,
lowest. The lowest.
So it was worth like
It's like the
$10
bargain
or
basement
something.
clue that was left that nobody wanted. But I think maybe 1998 Spielberg war film had something to do with them knowing the answer. They
Okay.
can't do the answer.
Okay, Saving Private Ryan. Okay, we have to find that. Can we get that on YouTube somewhere? Can we hear you doing that on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh, cool. There's.
There we go.
Oh. Here we go. Here we go, Chris. Can you get in on that? That is the question.
Yeah.
And while you're looking at that, Lampros from Greece, and we're going to completely change the subject, is how much time do you warm up before a great concert like in the Berlin Philharmonic? Well, today, not a lot. Thank you. Yeah, tell me, Jonathan, how much time you were warming up already? Yeah.
You know the answer to that, right?
You don't warm down.
Never cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one. But how is it now? A serious one question, Michael. To keep in well, it's probably not. You're probably not the right one to ask, because you're sharing a room with a 9-month-old. Yeah. But staying in shape on tour, actually, you're totally not the right person to ask, because it must be hard.
I mean, in some ways, that's been what the last 9 months is. How do I practice way less and sleep way less and not chow when I go to work?
Not shower.
Chow.
Oh, chow.
I just, trash a concert. And I mean, like going back to some really core fundamental stuff, breathing, buzzing, trying to make sure my playing is efficient as it can be.
Okay. It's Hadley. Hello, Hadley. Nice of you to watch. Unfortunately, I thought you were going to talk longer, so I put a gummy bear in my mouth. I wanted you guys to have something German, so we've got. Anyway, excuse me. These folks play softer than humanly possible. How does this relate to the resonant acoustic you're talking about? There you go, Jamie. Another one. You get all the good ones today.
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of things. I mean, playing softly, you just have to practice playing softly. And whenever this comes up with students, I don't know Hadley, so
Hadley's a grown-up.
So, but it often comes down to when a student will ask, you play so soft, and you don't miss notes. How do you do that? And I mean, every single day I practice it. It's an integral part of my routine. There's a big part of my warm-up.
We'll do that on another hangout.
Yeah.
Get all that. Get all that done.
And it usually comes down that they don't actually practice it,
Yeah.
or they don't actually always test the limits.
It's quite amazing that with students. Don't you think that sometimes they say, how do you play those low notes? Don't you find? And I say, well, do you practice low notes? Oh no, it sounds terrible. Jason, your turn?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, Rachel and I, we're kind of growing up together as we play this job in second and fourth, and
You were actually principal. You played first one, didn't you?
associate principal in my first job, and then I got a second horn job, and I'm moving upwards.
I'm going to say you're being promoted at every turn. You've been now promoted to fourth horn.
And the strings they all have great instruments, and they put out a lot of sound. So, Beethoven 7, for example, we both played it, and the low solo, you really don't have to play soft at all. And that's one of the things the things that you do in an audition to sound soft, you don't do at all in the orchestra.
Beethoven 9 or Beethoven 7?
Beethoven 7, Beethoven 9,
yeah.
anything that goes into the low range.
Yeah.
If you so you have to play out and play with a great sound, but play with a soft attack, or the approach of sound of soft playing. But
Low horns
and
rock,
then the hall.
says Tracy. Low horns rock. Thank you, Tracy. We agree. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a perception issue, and I think the first horns, I'm always impressed, the first and third, they have to play soft in the high range. For us, I think we get to be more comfortable.
Yeah. Do you really train the beefing up of the low range? Is that something you find that comes naturally to you, or
Does not come naturally.
no? Do you what do you do? What's your philosophy?
Well-
You've got 1 minute 30 seconds to tell us now.
Well, for me, I was an opposite kind of student. I played softly, and my teacher was always, play louder, like yelling at me to play loud. And I never listened. And I remember a couple years into the job, Jason or Michael saying, "Oh, I noticed you've been working on your loud playing. It's getting a lot better."
Is that a polite way of saying you haven't been playing loud enough?
It's,
Yeah, I want to.
I think it was him. It was one of those. And I don't know. The loud low playing is something that when I work really hard on it kind of makes everything else worse.
Oh, really? I find it helps stabilize. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a natural beefcakey like bass trombone thing for me. I admire people who could do that.
John, when you, I don't know anyone who can do that. No, it's important to be able to do both. I came from second horn and I had to beef it up. I knew they were going to get me on that here. They were going to say, she can't play loud enough. Opera orchestra, second horn, we're not taking her. British, out. So that was something I really put a lot of work into. But like what Rachel says about if you practice a lot in the low range, if the high range gets worse, if you're doing laundry horn, utility horn, a utility room is where you do your laundry in America, isn't it? Yeah, a utility room, it means a room for everything. So a utility horn is a horn for everything. How do you keep that in shape? Do you agree with that when you have to play low horn, that high horn gets harder?
Well, not so much. Not so much. I found that it's complementary, and you know, being in my position over the years, I've certainly had to do a little of everything, and I've just kind of learned to maintain both at once.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are weeks where there's a little bit more focus in the lower range, and other weeks more focus in the upper range. But yeah, it's like anything else. I think you got to work at it for it to maintain.
I find I have to work at it more and more. That's
That's absolutely true.
Not that we're old or anything, but you do have to. I thought when I was younger, I just thought, okay, when you get a bit older, then you know how to do it. But maybe we know how to do it.
That lasts for a little while.
Yeah. A little while, yeah, till you're about 25.
Or till about the fourth movement.
Yeah. Exactly. So, Gus, in Boston, what does one do in Boston when one's not going to the Boston Symphony concerts? What do you like? You live in Concord.
I live in Wayland, yeah, I'm about a half hour out, and I live on a river, so I like to get out on the river. I like to get out on a bike and on the trail.
You're all very sporty by the sound of things.
Sporty, I guess you'd say, yeah. I mean, I like to keep active because I think it helps my playing and it just makes me feel better.
Of course. What do you like about Boston? Being a Californian?
I mean,
Nice
I went
winters.
from California to Boston for school and loved it, moved away from my jobs, and as soon as I left Boston, I was really itching to come back.
Well, you went to Buffalo. I mean,
I went to Syracuse and
I was
then
desperately
Buffalo.
trying to remember. Was it Syracuse or Buffalo? Yeah.
Syracuse, then Buffalo. So, yeah. I mean, I love.
nothing against Buffalo.
Is anyone
I
from
love
Buffalo watching?
But it does snow a lot there.
It snowed even more in Syracuse. I mean, we'd have a snowblower that couldn't blow the snow over the existing pile of snow. It's like Groundhog Day. It got kind of dark. No, I mean, I love the city in general. I love the vibe and the beer and the sports and the
vibe, the
everything
beer, and the
about it.
sports. That's it.
No, not as but I mean I went to school listening to everyone in the orchestra and thinking, oh my God, that's great. I'd love to do that. And I was really lucky. I got to start playing extra. And I remember playing the first Strauss tone poem I ever did was Alpine Symphony, and we did this funny little setup, and I was playing bumper to Jamie. So I had Jamie here and Gus here.
Oh, you had them all like.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the middle of this. I mean, this is the coolest thing. So as soon as I left, I desperately wanted to come back, and I got really lucky that worked out.
Oh.
But you worked really hard too.
I did, yeah. But I mean, everybody else here.
It's not easy to go somewhere where everyone knows you, you know, and then apply for jobs where
It is if you're Michael.
Yeah, okay. So how does it work here with the auditions? Unfortunately, we don't have that much time left. It's so much fun. You guys, what time's your rehearsal?
7 o'clock.
Okay, so we've got a few more minutes. But if you have any questions for the Boston Symphony Orchestra horns, get them in here. I haven't been able to keep up with them all. You guys get to see who's asked what, and we can try and answer some in the chat when we're done. Written, let us know where you're watching from. I love to know that. And if you have any questions for the guys and gal, the auditions, because someone's just asked why is an assistant called a bumper?
Well, we don't use that word.
It's very British. Us guys. Yes, I do have an American passport, you know, so I should be saying assistant. We lived in. We were neighbours. I lived in Acton, Massachusetts for 6 years.
Yeah.
I went to the Brooks School of Concord, Massachuchusetts.
That's where she learned how to play horn so well.
Wow.
No, I was 8 years. I was 2 to 8 years old, so I knew nothing about. No, didn't play any horn. I sang a lot and I liked to be on stage. I think I wanted to be Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. That was my ambition. You beat me to it. Beat me to that.
You seem to fly.
Send you the arrangements so you can.
Yeah, so I found that people they prefer the British accent, you know, and I really enjoy it when I go back to America and land and they look at my American passport and say, "Welcome home, Sarah." I say, "Oh, thank you so much." Anyway, sorry, I don't know. It's your hangout, not mine. Bumper.
Right.
Bumper.
And
Thumper and bumper.
Why is it bumper?
A bumper is, I don't know, because I really don't know. We're going to have to ask that does anyone know why an assistant is called a bumper in
Wait
England?
the first horn up because they're usually.
Maybe just, you know, you're always worried if they're going to.
Play.
You know what it's like, you know, they sit there before Chike 5 and the strings are playing, you think, do you sleep? But auditions, this is a huge difference between European auditions and American auditions. How does it work with you guys?
Without going into too much detail, essentially it's screened all the way through to the very, very super final, and there might be 2 or 3 players left. And at that point, it sometimes remains screened. I guess in my experience, more often than not, the screen goes away, but sometimes...
We're given a choice.
Yeah, we're given on the committee, we're given a choice.
And when we all of us listen to the auditions,
right.
The whole orchestra, but you say committee, like you said you've been on every brass committee. How many people are on a committee?
So I guess it's 9 usually.
Yeah. Is it voluntary?
11.
Voluntary or
there's a formula, you know, so depending on what the position is, you know, which is why Gus has been on the brass auditions.
Right, he's the formula.
Yeah.
It's a concertmaster. There's always a concertmaster's different winds, different brass depending on the position.
Mine was the full horn section, trumpet player, principal trombone, oboe, concertmaster. And we didn't have a music director at the time, so.
Does the music director get a? We have a picture of you with your music director, our beloved Andres. Jakob, do you have that picture? It's very skinny. Where was that?
When was
it?
I have no idea.
There was the Tanglewood one with Chuck Kavalowski.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's a lovely one. I'm looking forward to seeing Andres. We love him. He's really great. One of the most enthusiastic conductors I've ever come across. So does he have a say in who gets hired?
He typically comes in, definitely for important positions, principal positions, and sometimes for others he comes in at the end. So when we're down to 4 or 5 people,
right,
and then he'll weigh in. But
on the same day?
Yeah,
okay.
usually. But I think technically how it works is that the committee can either recommend more than one candidate or no candidates to the music director, and the music director, in theory, can decline. Again, in my experience, that's never happened. I think it may have happened in the past,
I'm
but
sure
not
they trust.
It's happened very rarely.
Yeah.
I was hired under James Levine, but he didn't participate in the audition. So his view was principal positions and such. He wanted a more direct input on it, but otherwise I think he trusted them to hire their own colleagues.
Fourth horn, I mean, you should have realized how important that is.
Oh, I thank my lucky stars he didn't get involved. But people always talk about the music director shaping the orchestra. Really, the orchestra shapes the orchestra more.
Absolutely. We
than-
shape
than
the
other
music
people.
directors.
Yeah, they don't talk about that.
I wanted to touch on something that Jamie and Jason talked about, and that's that, Jason said that he and Rachel have grown up together as low horns here, and Jamie talked about the playing in the hall. Something about Symphony Hall, there's a sound in that hall, there's a way that you play in that hall that I think is what dictates our concept. When you asked about, what is the Boston tone concept, and that I think is shaped very much by playing successfully in that hall for a number of years.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people's playing change a lot as they develop in the brass section.
The whole makes the sound as well.
You literally played that hall.
Yeah.
It's like a great instrument.
Someone's just asked, Joe from Boston wanted to know what the difference is between the German horn sound and the Boston horn sound, the American Boston horn sound. It's so hard to say though, isn't it? I mean, it's...
Well, I mean, one of the things that Gus said, kind of playing
Shut
in
the
hall.
door, sorry, we've got people trying to get in here,
we all own many instruments, and it's really interesting on any, we try out horns all the time, and some stuff sounds really good at home or in a practice room, and we get on the stage, and for whatever reason, either works really well on our stage or it doesn't. I mean, when I was trying out my horn, it was kind of in the section, I was like, okay, this sounds fine, but 25 feet out, it sounds completely different in a really good way, and it's like, wow, this horn really fits with this hall. In other horns, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, okay. It just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't have.
because we don't even think about that. We all play Alexander's and that's it, whether the hall likes it or not. Which has its advantages, obviously. It's easier to blend. Maybe don't, but there's no reason why a horn section shouldn't blend, even if they play different horns. I mean, as you guys have proved that.
Yeah, and as you can see just at a glance, although they are made by a lot of different makers, but there's definitely a family resemblance there. So we've
Yes, all the same color.
Yeah, we tend to kind of gravitate towards similar flares and the same rap, pretty much.
No one's asked the mouthpiece question, which is good because Ken Pope is
look at the
watching.
time.
Ken Pope is watching. Hi, hey, Ken. Nice to see you. Does he look after all your repairs?
He does a lot of
the squirrels.
The squirrel. Yeah, how's the squirrel?
Yeah.
No, he had this cute little squirrel he took care of. He asked who has better beer, Berlin or Boston. Well, actually, you mentioned the beer, so.
Well, I mean.
You haven't tried the Berlin beer yet, though.
I did last time we were here.
Okay. Well,
I really liked it.
Well, we will test that out tonight.
Strangely, I seem to like the beer in all the cities we're in. So.
Rachel, are you a beer drinker?
Yes.
Good girl. Good girl. How many auditions did you take before you won your respective jobs with the BSO? Asked Adegia Ogun. Adegia. Good. How many auditions did you take? How many auditions did you take? You were in 2 orchestras.
I kind of got really lucky. I won my first job while I was still in school, and then that orchestra started to have some financial troubles, and there were 2 positions.
Was it the lockdown?
Yeah, and so there was the Chicago Symphony and the Chicago Lyric Opera. So I got that job. I was just going to take anything that would have me, and then I didn't do a lot of auditions. I did a couple. And then when I saw the Boston job had come open, I'd been waiting for. Dick Mackey was in that position for, I think he was 76, 74 when he retired.
Or when he got, yeah.
Oh no! Well, when he retired at 74.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I had been watching that job from the time I was an undergrad, thinking that would be a great job, and he didn't retire. So I kept moving around doing different things. So. You see the opportunity come up, and but I auditioned 3 times before I go. Well, the first audition, Lyric wouldn't let me out of one of the operas, so I took the second and third audition before I was hired.
Okay, gosh.
So.
And John, was it your first job?
It was not my first job. No, it was.
Where were you before?
My 3rd job.
Okay, so you've done a couple of auditions in your time too.
Auditions.
Gus, how long you went straight into the BSO? No, where were you before?
I was principal in Rochester.
That's right, Rochester. But when you came in, you had a colleague called Daniel Katzman, right? And I've got to ask you something because we got a little video of you and Daniel playing Beethoven 8.
Oh, okay.
And can you just play it for us, Jakob? And you'll see what I mean, why I want to ask this question. So you saw what I did. Your colleague Daniel was playing on a horn, and the first and third slides were missing. This is on YouTube. You can find it and steal it like we did. Oh, what was all that about? Is this a Boston Symphony tradition?
It's a Danny Katzen tradition. Hi, Danny, if you're watching. Yeah, so anytime anything light or soloistic came up, he would take the horn apart and use only the bare bits.
Isn't that dangerous? You know, I would be careful.
He wrote it in every part.
My parts
You know,
are still
pull
there.
third
It
slide.
would be dangerous if you didn't have his mind.
Okay.
But he has an amazing computer up there that calculates things very, very quickly.
So it was just to make the horn feel
To make it
light.
lighter, yeah.
Okay, I thought this might be a Boston Symphony tradition. Are there any Boston Symphony horn traditions, Jamie?
Well, there's the prank, the mute.
The mute?
I think we've all gotten each other the thing, putting the mute string under the chair.
Oh, that's true.
There was a tradition started, I think, by Dave Ohanian that
You think Dave's watching? I hope he is. Suzanne told him about it.
of a kick.
A kick?
A kick for any mistake that
Oh.
wasn't a missed note. You weren't allowed to kick for a missed note.
No.
This is my understanding.
Oh, really?
because I came in after him.
Okay.
But that's what Danny told me.
So you could just, you know, a kick.
So
when
it's
you
a
kick,
kick
it's just a
if
little.
you do something stupid.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sure that doesn't happen very
You
often.
hold out your foot in penance, and everybody
Wait, yeah,
kicks
somebody
you.
kick you.
Yes.
I'll look out for that tonight.
We actually don't do that so much anymore because like Michael and I together are pretty like serious pair. Like,
Are you?
Because I don't want to.
I can't imagine that somehow.
Well, no, I just mean that like if Michael chips a note, which it is very rare actually. He's an incredibly accurate player, and I would never want to rub that in because I wouldn't want him to rub it in if I chip a note. So we generally just are pretty respectful in that. But when I first came in, boy, you'd get kicked right away, and it was all
So
in good
Jamie,
fun.
in the middle of this huge great big, you're not allowed to miss anything ever because your leg would be attacked.
But on the
from all
bright side, he can
sides.
kick everybody from where he is.
Okay.
Special shoes.
Any other traditions you can think of?
No, I mean I have my own personal quirks, but they're not really section wide.
That's conducting, right?
Oh yeah, I guess that would count, wouldn't it?
We tease him about.
I'm sure we don't have a conductor in our section. Have you conducted the Boston Symphony or Boston Pops?
No, I've conducted a few ensembles, made up of members, but not on our own stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we wish he would.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
He's quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. We're going to see that. Can we find you on YouTube conducting?
Yeah, probably.
Good. Okay.
Probably.
You could. Anyone watching can put any links down here. I'm afraid we're going to have to stop because there's a boys' choir outside the door. Is it kids' choir or
I think
what
it's
is
a
it?
children's
A
choir.
children's choir who are going to be singing in Mala Bim Bam, and they are all waiting to get into this room. And we have this huge setup here, and we've got to clear it all up. And you actually got a concert, and you've got all this tea party to finish. No one's actually had a bite because it's.
I've been eating those.
yeah,
really
the
good.
German gummy bears. So I'm going to just say thank you for all this. This is great. Oh, someone. Yeah, is it good? Boston. I am now officially a Boston Symphony Orchestra Horn Section fan. I hope you are all too. You can keep writing in the chat, right where you watched from, whether you enjoyed it. Actually, only write if you enjoyed it. And there's a hangout coming up very soon on the 22nd of September with Eric Terwilliger, who is retiring, who we can't even imagine doing, and he's going to do a whole hangout on Farkas and his warm-up, Farkas. Which is great because I love the warm up. It's his book is like the Bible for me.
In fact, Eric and I played Mahler 3 together at Indiana University when I was a freshman and he was a senior.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
how
played principal.
lovely. Well, I'm gonna we'll
sounded
stop.
fantastic, yeah.
He is really. He just played first one with us at the proms. I mean, he's really. Eric is an example to us all, of having done so much and age 65 and still going strong. Anyway, Eric's hangout on the 20. What did I say? Can't remember. It's all on the website. Soon. Watch out for that. But thank you, really.
Thank you.
Michael, Jamie, Jason, Rachel, Gus, John. You guys have been great. It's hard to get to everybody, but I think everybody got the gist that you guys are just a great section. And you like hanging out.
Yeah.
And after the concert tonight, I hope we can all have some beer backstage together.
That sounds good.
Okay. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
We'll say goodbye. We'll say goodbye into that camera. Bye. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Goodbye.
See you soon.